Aries. Welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot and welcome to your cards for February. Happy Retrograde Mercury. We're back. We're here. This month can feel very intense. It could feel like there's a lot of twists and turns we're navigating, a lot of unexpected things being thrown at us. It could be within the collective, it could be within your own personal life, but when Uranus comes across this square with Saturn, it's about testing your stability, testing your security. And for you, this is 11th house, 12th house transit, and it's all about how much you trust yourself, how much you believe in yourself. Now, the whole point of the past several months has been dealing with the nodes in the 3rd house and the 9th. These are pretty mental things. These are pretty mental placements. I apologize for stumbling through my words. I am really feeling this retrograde Mercury, so bear with me. The thing about the 3rd and the 9th house being such a mental house is that there's so much noise. There's so much stuff coming at you from other people, information, media, the news, your friends, maybe even other people's opinions or advice that seem to be filling your head kind of almost in a torturous manner. And then we have this 2nd house, 11th house square. This is really big because the 2nd house, Mars and Uranus together, is a place of value and resources. This is kind of what we tap into at the core of ourselves. It can often represent our survival, our basics, our basic needs. It's a pretty substantial house karmically, and when it makes a square to your 11th house, especially because you've been hosting that 12th house Neptune, things are starting to shift and your perspective is starting to shift. There may have been things you were really hell-bent on happening, and all of a sudden you get to see it from a different perspective. Timing may be a little bit off in situations. Now, I do have to tell everyone, all of my signs, that this is a pretty brutal retrograde Mercury, because it is conjunct Jupiter, because it's with a lot of other planets. We have a stellium in Aquarius, which is your 11th house. There's so much energy here, and I think we're going to have to do a deep dive, a deep review into the things that we've understood so far, the stories that we've told ourselves when we were so confused. We're dealing with the node square Neptune, and I think we're all starting to get a feel for how intense this transit can be. It's kind of like knowledge, again, coming at you from all different directions, and yet you have no idea what you can believe in, what you should believe in. There's a feeling like you should be much more practical, even though you have an overwhelming desire to run off and do the big things. And I think what happens through these transits, I think what happens, especially in a 2nd house transit for you, is the things that you truly love and desire, the things that you are meant to do in this lifetime, the gifts that you have, your resources, become uber important this month. It is shown to you what your true value is and how it is of best use at this time. Now, you are coming out as the King of Air, so this is all of this Aquarius energy. Aries, this is your 11th house, and this can be about the big things, and you are coming out very emotionally detached. I don't think it's a negative thing, and actually your environment is that of the moon, which tells me that things will balance out. This is sort of where the future meets the past. And so it is important, number one, first and foremost, for you to understand the very center of your reading, Nine of Pentacles. This is a card of being in the present. And I think this is where the universe needs you to be at all times. And it does appear that you will probably be pulled in several different directions. Now, King of Air with the moon sign is a little bit about the desire for truth, the desire for understanding, the desire of, wanting to know what is going on behind the scenes. And there's a lot of wisdom with that King of Air. There's a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of understanding, there's a vision for the future of what you want, of who you are. This is a very authentic king. He's very fair and he's very intelligent. And this is somebody who is always future forward. This is somebody that has solid goals, aspirations. But sometimes the King of Air can meet some detours. And that's what I feel like this moon is for you. There's a little bit of a detour. And I think there's an element that you could really benefit from this energy. Your first card out, 9-card block, is the Magician. Virgo energy. I feel a lot of Virgo energy. Right beneath him is the Hermit, which is another card of Virgo. So what I feel is these are the goals. I'm not sure if there was some sort of an emotional detachment to something or someone. And with that, there's a vision for the next thing. This is a feeling like chapters are closing and new ones are beginning. And what do you want it to look like? It's an opportunity, but yet it is a reminder that there's always karma. He wears a sign, the number 8 above his head, which is eternal. It is how things move through cycles. There's a lot of focused energy. There's a strong drive and ambition. But as well, there's so much pressure when I feel this Magician energy. Almost like a feeling of having to perform. And I'm wondering if you are sort of orchestrating so many loose ends in your life. Feeling like taking a moment to yourself might make all of the dishes you have spinning in the air kind of crash to the ground. And I think there's an element of needing to control things, to have them go in the way that you want them to go, in the time that you want them to happen. Like I said, it's determination, but it's almost manipulation at times. Not in a negative way, but just in the need to know. Because he comes out right underneath the King of Air, as long as you can control the situation, then nothing can kind of creep up that you're not ready for. And the thing is, when you have the moon in your environment, I don't think you have a lot of control over that situation. And right next to the Magician is the Queen of Cups. And I believe that this is your saving grace. I think this Queen of Cups is your ticket out, and I think this is all about your self-care, prioritizing yourself. Now this Queen of Cups feels as though she's retreating, maybe retreating from a long-term situation of some kind. It could be a job, it could be a friendship, it could be a marriage. It's the Ten of Pentacles, so it's some form of stability, something that she thought would be in her life always, something she could rely on and depend on at all times. But the way it comes out in the reading, she has her back turned towards it. And I feel as though there's something that you have accomplished or done, the goals that you have reached, the things you've checked off your boxes so far. And yet there seems to be something much more precious you would rather look at. The Queen of Cups is in her heart. She's in her emotions. She's very empathic. And sometimes she could sense when there are cracks in the foundation. And because the Ten of Pentacles is directly under the moon, I think you probably sense that there are cracks in the foundation. And that any and all energy that you could kind of pour into yourself this month. You know, the Queen of Cups kind of plays, she keeps herself safe. She keeps herself nourished. And I think with the retrograde Mercury in your 11th, you might be having some emotional situations come through. There's a lot of activity in that house of friends. And you could be hearing from old people. You could be very reminiscent or nostalgic about things of the past. Could be really looking at the stable things you have in your life and kind of questioning them at this time. Does this really fulfill me? What's interesting is directly underneath this Magician is the Hermit card. And this is another energy of Virgo. It is also another energy of retreating, facing, the way it's laying down, facing the same direction of the Queen of Cups. And sometimes I feel like the Hermit is the wisdom from within that tells us to follow that light, follow that spark. Maybe you don't have the answers. Maybe you don't have the guarantee, and yet you are so drawn and so pulled to go in a certain direction. And even if it doesn't make sense, even if you can't in your mind, the Magician, figure out how the pieces are going to come together, the Hermit is the wisdom to know that it's all going to work out. Next to the Hermit is the Nine of Pentacles. And I think the Nine of Pentacles, the center of your reading, is kind of the gift that you are given this month. I think it represents your stability, your independence. It represents absolutely an element of success. There's a lot of confidence, but it's not boasting, it's not prideful. Knight of Pentacles, energy of Virgo. I think that the things that you have learned, the things that you have been through, has made you a stronger person. And the things that you're willing to walk away from, the things that you're willing to kind of pull away, it is because you are a strong person, because you believe in yourself. The Nine of Pentacles is like the pre-Empress energy. There's not a lot of need to do a lot of hard work at this time. I think you've mastered a lot of skills. I think you have things under control, probably career-wise. And I think the self-care that you do in the beginning of the month will come out in, in outward abundance. When I see the Magician, I see that you are manifesting, and if you are manifesting yourself into a 9 of Pentacles, you are manifesting yourself into a lot of inner strength. And this much Virgo energy in your chart could also cause you to have a little bit of self-doubt. It's not to be forgotten that the lower vibration of Virgo can oftentimes be inferiority. Could be where you tell yourself you're not good enough, or you're not ready, or you can't make it on your own. You kind of are so concerned that you are believing too much in yourself. The Virgo energy always wants to be in service of others. She always wants to be kind of the person behind the scenes, making everything go good together. Kind of making sure that everything's stable and okay. And I think you're manifesting yourself into a position where you are stable and reliable no matter what. Even if it is a time of isolation, from moving away from people, from not being able to spend so much time with your friends, or it is an interesting tone to this energy of even having the resources that you need to kind of take you to the next level. Now, I like that energy. I'm definitely feeling that with this card, because the Hermit and the 9 of Pentacles comes out right next to the 4 of Wands. Maybe you've been saving, maybe you've been waiting to, 4 of Wands can be a new home. It could represent a celebration, going somewhere, even a vacation or a holiday. It's very much about being in a place of joy and celebration. And I think with the 9 of Pentacles, it means that the resources, at the very least, you have the resources that you need and able to put yourself in this 4 of Wands energy. 4 of Wands is fun, it's social, it's being excited about the future. It actually represents a wedding. Maybe you're traveling somewhere to be in a wedding. If you are, good for you. Sounds amazing at this time. It could represent the coming together of people, a reunion of some sort with people from your past, maybe, and of course with a retrograde Mercury in your 11th house, maybe there's even some sort of a reunion of some kind. And I think the resources are there. I think you've done the work, you've saved the money, if that's the case, to be able to go and enjoy this. And I do see you looking very forward to this. I think this has a lot to do with what is motivating you at this time. Now, I say that because next to that is a card of the fire element, desire. And on the other side, right next to that 4 of Wands, is the 2 card, the yin. And there's a lot about balance, and there is a lot to do with balance with the 4 of Wands as well. Being on stable footing. And the fire element may not be quite as stable as you would like. It could be rather impulsive. And I'm wondering if you are hesitating doing something impulsive. I do recommend that we kind of really think twice about all the things that we do this month, at least while Mercury remains retrograde until the end. I do say that because not only is this going to be a really typical retrograde Mercury, but it's very easy to say the wrong things or be misunderstood. And when we're at a time where things are so polarized, polarized, I feel like it's better to withhold information, because you have so much strength in you. And I'm not saying that for all of the signs, but there seems to be a lot of inward stuff going on. Now, I was picking up on this thing. There's all of this desire, right? The yin card represents the feminine energy, our ability to receive. And the Nine of Pentacles is also that confidence and ability to receive. You accept the things that you deserve when you believe that you deserve them. And that's a lot about the breakthroughs that are happening in the second house. Starting to realize what you truly deserve, that you deserve what you desire. But the yin energy means you have to kind of let it come to you. And I'm not sure, especially in that pre-Empress energy, if this is a good time for you to kind of go after things. This Four of Wands is kind of in between a Ten of Pentacles and a Ten of Cups. So I'm picking up an element of being a little torn by what is stable, maybe financially. You know, maybe this is a job that you've been at for a really long time and it's guaranteed paying your bills. You're living okay. But then there's the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is like that thing that you really, really, really love, but you never chose to do it because it wouldn't pay the bills, because there was fears around it, or you didn't believe in yourself. And I love the Four of Wands being in between these two, because I think this is you finding your inner stability to make these choices. There is no doubt that there are decisions being made this month. Two of Pentacles in reverse. But there may be some things that are being undone. Decisions that are being unmade. Retrograde Mercury. Things could have looked like they were going to go in one direction and they go in a completely different direction. You know, Uranus can bring some really unexpected events. The Two of Pentacles in reverse could possibly mean somebody makes a decision before you do. It could often represent a decision being made for you. There is a feeling, because this comes out underneath the Hermit with the Three of Swords, and this is what I was saying, there's something very haunting about getting beneath the layers, Aries. And I think this month you're kind of having to get beneath the layers of some stuff. It's so weird. I'm looking at this card and I see different things on these cards all the time, but on the bottom of the chair, in the detail of the etching of the stone, there's a baby who's oddly wiping their armpits with a fish. And there was something that seemed almost very deceptive about that, to me. And I feel like there's stuff going on below the surface that may be getting you really in your feels emotionally, having you face maybe even some old stuff, some old trauma. Maybe the way that you used to treat yourself, or the way that you believed in yourself, or loved yourself, or even respected yourself. You may have to correct the course in some ways. But with the Moon card and this card, and the way the Three of Swords comes out underneath the Hermit, it just feels like there's stuff still underneath the surface. And I think you get to see a little bit more of that a little bit at a time throughout the month. I do feel like there's going to be short bursts of breakthroughs this month. You know, the middle of the month will be quite big, but throughout there's going to be short bursts of breakthroughs, and ultimately, even if they are painful, even if we're in a position where we just have to feel the things that we haven't allowed ourselves to feel for a long time. Three of Swords is very mental. And it feels very harsh. And sometimes I look at the Three of Swords and I think, well, there's always three sides to every story, right? There's your side, their side, and in the middle is the truth. There's always a negative way to look at a situation and a positive way to look at a situation, and then there is the truth. And I think maybe you start to reframe some stuff in your life. You start to see yourself a little bit differently. This is the inner wisdom and your inner light and that inner spark. And I feel like this is discovering why you were never able to go after it before. This is that thing that you really wanted to do, or that thing that you always wanted, that you never thought you were worthy of. On the other side of this Two of Pentacles is that Ten of Cups, which is always representing a happy ending. It's always representing emotional fulfillment. And when I see a direct motion of the Magician, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Ten of Cups, it means that if you are in a positive mindset, if you believe that you deserve this Ten of Cups, whatever it represents to you, then it will ultimately be yours. But this month, there's a little bit of an uncovering, an illumination. Now, one of my favorite parts of the reading is your moon card, which is a full moon in Libra. A win-win outcome is in the forecast. Now, we will be having a new moon, obviously. A full moon in Libra, obviously around your birthday. So for sure, that is a significant indication, especially because it's next to the Magician, that if there is a certain event or something that you're looking forward to or hoping to happen, that it might reach some sort of a culmination around your birthday time, or sometime in or around the month of March. Really important, though, that you know that this is ultimately bringing balance into your life, that there is really, when I see the Two of Pentacles and I wonder, are you hesitating making a decision? And is it because you don't know if you can do it? It's probably best to understand that there's no wrong answer. You could take the pressure off a little bit, take the pressure off of yourself. And that's also an indication that the universe is kind of going to do its thing. It's going to do the things it needs to do to get things balanced out for you, to make things happen, to clear paths and obstacles. The fire element is kind of like burning the pathway. And I think all systems are a go. And the overwhelming energy, the overall energy, but I do feel it's overwhelming, is this Knight of Swords. And because you are the King of Air, this Knight of Swords could indicate that you feel some moments this month in which you're really called to speak your truth in some way, to communicate. And you want to be careful with the Knight of Swords because, again, there could be an element of impulsiveness, especially with communication. Because retrograde is Mercury is retrograde, oh my God, could it be any clearer? Because that planet is retrograde, there could be a lot of things that happen that just cause misunderstandings, that can make you kind of easily say the things or do the things or get upset or cut people off or block people in some way. But the Knight of Swords is definitely fast movement. It's definitely, again, that forward motion. And it's interesting because the bottom of this deck was the never-ending story, and this Knight of Swords is not even looking at it. And I feel like this is the moment, or this is the beginning of when you get to break free. You get to release yourself from karmic cycles. Ultimately, you're releasing yourself from this Ten of Pentacles. And what you're headed towards feels much warmer and much more beautiful. That was an amazing reading, Aries. I'm going to leave it at that. I will not be back mid-month for the readings. I'm starting a new course and pretty busy this month, but I am going to try to drop in with maybe an astrology video mid-month and pick a card. So I will be checking back in, but until I see you, have a wonderful month, have a great February, and a lovely Valentine's Day, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.